Hey y'all, I'm back. It's been a while. It's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you without a dope beat. Step two, step two, step two, step two. Wiki, 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 wiki. Baby girl. That's not what y'all here for. So, I don't remember exactly when I finished this book, but in honor of the great late Bell Hooks, who passed this past December 2021, we are covering All About Love. It was inspired by, of course, Smart Girl Book Club. Shout out to Julesy and them. And also shout out to Harriet, because those two ladies inspired me to be more of a, I don't know, just a different type of reader, in a sense, like to read things like this, So this book is deep. I know that this is going to be a book that I'm going to read again. That is first things first. This is a reread for sure. Like movies or even TV shows, like books sometimes have to be revisited when you have like more maturity or more life experience, and you'll gain more from it. I did gain a lot from it now, but I do think that as I was reading it, I'm like, okay, maybe in a year or so I would want to revisit this and figure what the new perspective is. So it covers like everything. Okay. So this is just a raw run through. I'm not even going to do the would you read it? Could I read it again? Is it a good read? Yeah, it's a good read. It's a great read. And like I said, it's one of them books that you probably want to revisit as you mature. So what I'm going to do is just kind of like randomly go through my notes. I have so many of them. And yeah, I have a lot of notes. So I'm just kind of pick through some things and some highlights and kind of reminisce with y'all. Yeah, reminisce with y'all through the notes. And if you've read All About Love by Bell Hooks, I would love to hear what you got to say or what you thought, or were you enlightened? I felt enlightened. I know that I'm probably going to read this book again, maybe even this year. Maybe I'll revisit it at the end of 2022, because I'm dedicating 2022 to love. I am. So first things first, Hook says love is an action. This is a fact. And it's an action that we kind of, as humans, get twisted from time to time, because love can show up as a word a lot of times more so than an action. And she's challenging us throughout this whole book, from the rooter to the tutor, about love, and especially in Western society. So I asked myself, what can I imagine about love? I don't remember if this was a book or me. And what is my wildest dream of love? And that is something that I'm still brewing over. I'm still, still figuring it out. So yeah, there's no love without justice. A lot of justice, you gotta remember, she's a warrior now. So she's gonna bring on the moral and political and societal and cultural aspects of love as well. It's not just about romantic love, if that makes sense. Another poignant note that she points out is that care is a dimension of love, but it is not love. I don't know, that kind of struck me in my heart somewhere, because that's so true. Like, to care for someone does not necessarily mean that you love them. And so to like define and put like a little line in the sand between what love is and defining love for myself is important. It's important for everyone to define it. And that way, when you do come into contact with another person and you're saying, oh, I love you, or you really feel love for this person, then there should be some context behind it. And I'm still working on that, honestly. It's a growth. It's a growth. Another cool thing about this book is that there are so many references to other books, and it's just like, oh my gosh, you could just do a whole haul of self-help, love, psychology type books just based off of the references in this book. So, I'm supposed to be a master's student, so I should be a little better at citing things, but I'm not. So I'll just say some quotes and just know that they came from people in the book if I didn't write their name down, because I probably didn't. Yeah, Steinem, this is a quote, I believe, from Steinem's Revolution from Within. Success without doing the root work is basically internalized hatred undermining success. That is a paraphrase. That's not the whole quote. And I also put here, revisiting the past or knowing how one got here doesn't necessarily help one heal. And this is huge because I am one of those people who have tiptoed I done tried to go back into the womb with my, therapizing myself. And I don't know if all that has really been that helpful. And this quote, revisiting the past, not being that helpful from sometimes, it doesn't really matter. Maybe it don't. Maybe it don't. Hook says here, faith enables us to move past fear. Let me say it one more time for the people in the back because I be stuttering. Faith enables us to move past fear. This is what I am working on personally, is building my faith. My faith in God, my faith in myself, my faith that this life is really about something other than questions that are unanswered. Something else that I remember when I read this, because I wrote it down real hard. I could see how thick my writing is because I put extra ink and pressure into the writing this down. I said to perfect. So as a person who is like me, who has an issue with things, having to be a certain way sometimes, depending on what I got going on, like whatever. So what I'm saying is, dealing with perfection, right? To be perfect or to perfect, it depends on how you coding it, how you switching around in your brain. How are you switching around in your brain? Because to perfect means to refine. To be perfect is to be refined. And that is a process. And I just thought that was deep, that somebody need to hear that. That's a word for somebody. Process. Hooks touches on consumerism and lovelessness. I think that's also a very poignant point. Just the way that we live these days, it doesn't leave a lot of room for love. Like, you gotta fight for love. You gotta fight for love these days, for sure. And this is a quote. I'm gonna assume it's from N. Braden. That's what I wrote here. That has the six pillars of self-esteem. The wounded heart learns self-love by first overcoming low self-esteem. Another shot to the heart. The wounded heart learns self-love by first overcoming low self-esteem. That is a fact. Gotta bring it up. Bring your self-worth up. And that will help to heal that heart. They go hand in hand. And sorry, I have dog fur all over me. This is just another one of those things to just this in itself could just be meditated on. The wounded heart learns self-love by first overcoming low self-esteem. We're gonna sit with that for a moment. Wow. So what are the 6 pillars of self-esteem? Living consciously, self-acceptance, self-responsibility, self-assertiveness, living purposefully, and personal integrity. I need to write this stuff down and put it on my wall somewhere, because I'm gonna just be honest. I'm human. And I think that self-esteem is a big issue for not just me, but all people on some level. So, having these pillars to kind of let me make sure that I am being conscious, accepting who I am thoroughly, being responsible for myself, being assertive, like that assertiveness Yeah, that's the thing. Living purposefully in personal integrity, having integrity. So these are just some good base points to help with self-esteem and, cultivate that self-love so to radiate out and we can get more of what we want. So, your girl is studying and learning and doing her best to apply. You hear me? So one of my favorite pieces is where Hooks talks about sexism. She says sexism, that's not what this says. It says often sexist thinking obscures the fact that these women, meaning us, me, make a choice to serve and that they give from a space of free will and not because of biological destiny. And I totally agree that it is not something that should be expected by way of, oh, this is a female or a woman human, therefore she must be anything, especially not giving or subservient or submissive or any of those things. So here's another good quote. I think at this point Hooks was talking about a personal relationship she had. He wanted a woman to be just like his mama so that he did not have to do the work of growing up. Child, she never lied. That is a lot of people's situation. And when we're talking about love, it don't work like that. It don't. Don't nobody want that. That's a child. A child ain't a partner. A child is a child. You see, it's getting personal, right? So just stop. Move on to the next quote. There's even a syndrome. I want to say Killy, one of them. Peter Pan syndrome. You can look it up. And that Kylie, or Killy, excuse me for messing up your name. American males and their refusal to become men. It's like they picking between either being the macho man or remaining a boy. Where there is so much in between there. So many good spaces that you could fall in between boyhood and machismo. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. The Peter Pan syndrome. You never want to grow up. You want to be on that Riverland, and I don't know about you. I'm not a man hater. I'm not a man basher. But I just know what I know. And from what I know in my experience, and the women that look like me, that live around me, that be around me, we have to grow up. It's like we have no choice. Men have a choice. These male specimens be having a lot of choices. I don't know, a lot of us women, at least you want to know what it is? Perhaps it is that we did not think that we had a choice by way of our experience, and that is why we did not choose to be Peter Pan and Tinkerbell our damn selves. I'm not upset, I'm just passionate. We're moving on. So this next little portion, I'm just going to be kind of throwing out little blurbs of things for you guys to think about. There were just points that just stuck out to me. Is culture ready to affirm mutual love between free women and free men? Question mark. Is love a women's issue? Question mark. The privilege of power is at the heart of patriarchal thinking. That is a quote. To know love, we must surrender our attachment to sexist thinking in whatever form it takes in our lives. That's a Hooks quote. Choosing to be honest is the first step in the process of love. Also a Hooks quote. We're talking about undermining self-esteem. It is emotionally devastating when the partners we have chosen will not listen. When we are committed to doing the work of love, we listen, even when it hurts. Quotes from Hooks. This stuff is good, man. Like, this book is so deep. That's what I'm saying. It has to be reread. It has to be combed through with several combs, because it's going to get you in areas that you might not have even thought love applied. But love is across the board. And I love this book. I do. She says, discipline and devotion are necessary to the practice of love. And ain't that the truth? When we face the pain in our relationships, our first response is often to sever bonds rather than to maintain commitment. Good God Almighty. Let's talk about it, because let me tell you something. I be wanting to walk away. I'll be like, I'll see you later. But then not always. You know, with certain situations, it's not hard. Certain situations it's not hard to walk away. But in certain situations, it is so hard to walk away. And this ain't even got to be romantic. This is just anybody that you got a connection or a bond with. Like, it doesn't matter that it's toxic sometimes. It's like you want to be there. You want to do it with this person. And no. But I will say this. Let's reread it. When we face the pain in our relationships, our first response is often to sever bonds rather than to maintain commitment. I will say this. I will maintain commitment until I literally cannot anymore. That's a Taurus thing. I'm going to stay there until the wheels fall off, because once the wheels fall off, we have no more. There's nothing else that can be said. I was there until I really literally could not be there no more. Another quote. You may miss out on love running from pain. Big facts. All the time, every time. When we practice love, it enables us to distinguish constructive suffering from self-indulgent hurt. Few of us enter romantic relationships able to receive love. We fall into romantic attachments doomed to replay familiar family dramas. She just preaching all through the book now. Oh, this one here. Let me clear my throat. Let me get some water. She speaks of romance being a substitute for love. It's kind of cheap when you think about it. She ain't lying. Okay. I had to get my mind right to say this one. We have grown up in a culture that told us that no matter what we experienced in our childhoods, no matter the pain, the sorrow, alienation, emptiness, no matter the extent of our dehumanization, romantic love will be ours. If she ain't said a word there, a word ain't never been said. I mean, we could really just start the review right there. Because, baby, we have grown up in a culture. Let me reread it. We have grown up, excuse me, in a culture that told us that no matter what we experienced in our childhoods, no matter the pain, sorrow, alienation, emptiness, no matter the extent of our dehumanization, romantic love will be ours. These TV shows, these movies, these books, the romanticization, Instagram couples, IG folks, bagels, somebody's son, somebody's daughter, marriage proposals online, Facebook, all of that has gotten us screwed up. Because if we're not talking about the pain, if we ain't dealing with the pain, where are we going? Except for in the circle of pain. That's why I've been single. That's why I've been single. I ain't saying I've been perfect and single, but I have been single because I'm not going to, number one, ruin my life. I'm not going to ruin anyone else's life. And I'm not going to engage in an attachment with a person if we can't work on this together, because everybody got it. Everybody got their hang-ups. Ain't nobody perfect. Everybody done been through some things. So, romantic love, it is kind of cheap. It's cheap and it's manufactured. It's not real. And I, like most people, at some level have bought into the bullshit. Like it's not gonna be like that. Okay, Dwayne Wayne ain't finna come down the aisle while you standing there with Byron and be like, baby, please. My best friend though. We watched that episode a lot. It ain't like that. We wish life was that exciting. It ain't. It ain't. It ain't. Oh, another one. And another one. Hook says, if you don't know what you feel, then it is difficult to choose love. It is better to fall. Then you don't have to be responsible for your actions. I'm about to throw all the rest of the papers away. I'm telling you, it's like line after line after line, like punchline. Ooh, you need to think. You need to think about love. Think about how it's thrown around. I throw it around. But at the same time, I think there's levels of love. I think there are levels of love. So that's a whole nother conversation, but let's wrap up these notes. Because this is just a off the chain review. It's a good book, y'all. It's a good book. I mean, I still got notes on note cards, so I got tired of walking around with paper. So, yeah. And that's love. Because she was going to keep calling. So, she wanted to make sure I was alive, and I am. So, God is good. So, yeah, just dealing with death culture is just the antithesis. Is that the word? Well, whatever. It's like it's the opposite of what we're trying to do, but it is what we have a taste for. We are socialized to kind of love death here, especially in America. So, well, that's the only context I can come from because that's the only place I've been. So let's move forward. Knowing, oh child, incense might be a little close to my nose. Don't judge me, judge your mama. So, knowing how to love each other is also a way of knowing how to die. I think that's deep. That was a good one. I had to put that one in there. So, here's a quote. Interact with people like you may never see them again. Can you imagine that? Every time you see somebody, you're gonna give them all that you got because you just may never, and that's so real. Oh, that's real. That's so real. I just went to a funeral. That is real. Because you never know. You never know. Child. Ooh. I've been reading this one for a minute. It took me a minute to even turn the camera back on. Estrangement from the realm of the senses. The realm of the senses is a direct product of overindulgence. Acquiring too much. This is why living simply is a crucial part of healing. That's medicine. That's medicine. She says here, shaming breaks our hearts. That's so deep. I mean, it breaks our hearts, and it's so interesting because when I think of shame, I think of how it is used in groups and structures to kind of keep people in line, or to, kind of keep a person on a certain road. And it's like it's necessary. But it does break our hearts. And sometimes that can't be repaired. And I guess the antidote to this is to just not do anything shameful. But what human hasn't? Oof. Thoughts, answers. Deep, man. Deep. It's making my brain hurt. In a book by A. Miller called Banished Knowledge, Facing Childhood Injuries, says here, not taking one's own suffering seriously is considered good manners in our culture. Not taking my suffering seriously, kind of brushing it over, pulling myself up by my bootstraps, keep going, is considered good manners in our culture. And this is why it's so crazy. Like, I am a deep diver self-exploratory. I'm gonna try what it takes. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna dig deep. And if you're that type of person, if you are a seeker of knowledge and understanding, then you understand this quote on levels that I can't even express. It is considered good manners to be beside yourself. Not in yourself, not yourself, but beside yourself. And this is what I be talking about, you know? That's why it's so important to cultivate a level of groundedness, and reading things like this, getting your brain turning about culture and society and how that codes and shapes you as an individual is priceless. This is priceless work. So I'm gonna leave you all with a quote, and we're gonna end this. Like I said, this is not like how I've been doing it, where I give you like these 5 little, would you read it again? I just wanted to go through the notes, because this is that type of book. It's just a go through the notes, pull out some good stuff, and hopefully it inspires somebody else to read it. Or if you've already read it, you know, we can chit chat about it. Cause and this is my first Hooks book. This is my very first Hooks book. I've never read any of her work. So what a way to break into it. All right, guys, we're wrapping it up. This is the end quote. Save the sweetness for last. All of this stuff was sweet though, and all of it was relevant. So this quote is from Tony K. Bambara from the book The Salt Eaters. Just so you're sure, sweetheart, and ready to be healed, because wholeness is no trifling matter. A lot of weight when you are well. I'm gonna say it one more time because I don't think I gave it the I was supposed to give a little just so just so you're sure, sweetheart, and ready to be healed, because wholeness is no trifling matter. A lot of weight when you are well. A lot of weight when you are well. A lot of weight when you are well. Like, you got to be ready for this. You got to be ready to go through it. And once you go through it and you got it, you got to hold it. Love. I'm sending out love. Love. Radiate from this. I'm all over the place. But I just been on one all day anyway. That's just what this day has been. It's been from the time I woke up to this very moment to I still got some hours left. I've been on one. So, you know, deal with it. Because it's all coming in love. It's all coming in the sense of I am at a place where I am really, really, really wanting and desiring and putting in the work to go cultivate love. And it is shattering my world. Completely shattering in it. But I am allowing the shatter. I am assisting in the shatter. I have to let it be, because that is love for me. And I pray that everybody that has watched this video, that has even looked my way, experiences love and can hold on to it. So, one more time. Just so you're sure, sweetheart, and ready to be healed, because wholeness is no trifling matter. Wholeness is no trifling matter. A lot of weight when you are well. And that, my dears, is the end of this book review. One more time for All About Love, Bell Hooks. Do I need to do a doggone whatchamacallit? I probably do. Hold on. I should have wore a different shirt. I'm going to catch it. Yeah.